Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is my little slice of the internet where I took all things crafty. Pretty much there's a lot of crochet that goes on here. There is the odd occasional bit of knitting, not very much. Sometimes there's cross stitch and sometimes there's some jewellery making as well. You'll notice that over on the channel there are quite a few tutorials up for lots of different projects. I am a textiles teacher and this is my monthly podcast. I also do unboxing videos for the Crochet Society subscription box. Yep, I think that's everything. So my name's Maddison and you can find me over on Instagram at the House of Langford, as well as at Overall Sews. I'm most active on Overall Sews because that's kind of more my personal account. And what else is there to tell you? So I'm also on Facebook. There is a Facebook page that links to this podcast. There is a Ko-fi account if you want to support the podcast. It just goes towards things like the free tutorials, and I love a cup of tea. So if there's a cup of tea and some bickies, I am there. I am also on Ravelry. At MadXStitcher if you're able to access Ravelry. That's kind of where I upload all my finished makes and then put all the details of the yarns I've used and the hook size I've used and things like that. But a lot of it does go down below in the description box for you, so do check that out if there's something that you are interested in. So that's quite a lot of admin, and that's the first time I've really got through it all properly and actually mentioned everything, but there we go. There is also a website linked to this account, and that is thehouseoflangford.co.uk. I recently had a shop update. It's mostly jewellery making stuff, jewellery that I've made, and some sewn pieces as well, because I like to make some project bags. So yeah, that's my little slice of the YouTube. So I'm going to grab my notebook because I set plans for February. I'm actually recording this on the 27th of February. February finishes tomorrow, but it's Monday. I'm at work and I've got a meeting to attend in the evening, so it won't get filmed and I won't do anything tomorrow either. So yeah, I figured I would do it today. My plans therefore for February were to finish the Advent Cowl. So that was the 2021 Advent blanket from the Crochet Society Advent, which is the box unit behind me. And then I wanted to finish the first section of the magic carpet throw that I started, which is from Simply Crochet Magazine. I wanted to finish the first section of My Favourite Things blanket, which was a Darren Moss pattern. However, Darren Moss is now closed, so I'm really hoping the patterns end up on Lovecrafts because I believe they've bought them, or at least the stock and their database from them. The last thing I wanted to do was make 2 Valentine's gnomes, which you may already have spotted in frame. So let's get started on what I've actually managed to achieve and finish for the month of February. And first off is the Advent blanket. Now this, I'm going to show you 2020's first. So if you remember, if you were here for 2020, this is 2020's blanket. That is the full length, so it fits, kind of fits on my screen, and then the width is this wide. So knowing that this, the last year, so 2021's blanket might be the same size, like I don't really need a blanket the same size. Which is why it's taken me so long to do, because I decided to double up everything, repeat some of the sections, add in the yarns from all the days, and add in yarns left over from this one. So it is now finished. I have woven in the ends where I needed to weave them in the back, because I'd added new colours or had to change somewhere in a row. The rest of the ends are all hidden in the edges again. So yeah, now this is 2021's, and you can see it doesn't fit in frame. I've just knocked something on the floor and I don't know what it is. Possibly a donut. I'll see you in a minute. It is the same both sides, so you can kind of see how wide it actually is, how long it is. The width is this way, so this side, this is pretty much the same in length as the other one in terms of this way, but the other way is double, so I've made it quite large. What you can see is I have doubled up here. So these trees are supposed to be the opposite way up and skeletal, but I didn't like the skeletal ones. I've got creamy coffee in the back of this one, which is from the previous cow. I've doubled up this section, so you're only supposed to have one of the eyelet sections. And we can see here, I've actually put in a gradient, so you're only supposed to have one row of this. But I've put in a gradient and used the forward colours that I thought worked nicely together. And also, that pink is just peachy from 2020's advent, so it's not even from this blanket. But yeah, it's nice and big, it's nice and warm and cozy, and I'm really, really happy with it. I think, I'm not sure that the colours really go together, so I think having a more specific colour scheme would probably help to show off all the stitches better. But I am happy with it, and yeah, really pleased to have it finished. So this is the, oh, so long, 2021 Advent cowl from Crochet Society, in terms of it being the Advent that they did last year. So you got 25 balls of yarn, and each day you got a part of the pattern. The pattern is written by Rosina Plane, who also did 2020's blanket cowl, and as you'll see in a little while, also the designer of the blanket I'm currently working on. I seem to like her patterns because there are a lot of mosaic crochet, and I've become a bit obsessed with it. So yeah, but yeah, I've still got some yarn left over as well. So what I'll actually do is I want to make some mandalas with them. I've seen a few people on the Facebook group working on all their spares up, all their scraps into things like cushions and stuff. So I want to have a go at making some mandalas with them, just to hang them on the wall or in the window. So yeah, that is finish number 1 for February. Moving on then, my second finish of the month is actually 2 items because they go together. Now I have made a Mr. Gnome and I have made a Mrs. Gnome. Now I'd hoped to make these for Valentine's Day, but didn't actually start them until like the day after. But yeah, really pleased with them. In order for the hats to be shaped, they've got pipe cleaners in them, which I think is really clever. And I'm quite glad that it is actually showing up kind of true to colour on the screen. Their hats are made, everything is made with Stylecraft Special DK, other than the nose on both of them, and then obviously their hands, which is a Deramores yarn, Deramores DK, which is from their new selection. Everything else is Stylecraft, and the hats are the colour bright pink, and they really are bright pink, to the point where they don't photograph very well, but I really love them. Their bodies are made up of fondant, which is the lighter pink. Their hair and beards is obviously white, and then the little heart at the top is in candy floss for the light pink, and then there's white wings as well. So I really enjoyed working on these. They actually don't take that long either. I did this one pretty much in a day. Yeah, in a day, and yeah, I did it at my local yarn shop on, I think it was a Saturday morning. It might have been Wednesday in half term. I can't actually remember. I think it was a Saturday that I finished it off. And what I have done differently is added in a cardboard ring at the bottom, and all I did was draw around a mug to get that shape, and that's just so they sit up flat and don't topple over, because I'm quite prone to overstuffing So yeah, but I'm really pleased with them. My husband likes them as well, which is good because I made them for us. Yeah, the pattern is by Muffy Corn on Etsy. I thought it was from Ravelry, but the pattern is actually available on Etsy. So I will try and put the link for that down below. But yeah, I wanted to show you my little gnomes. I'm really pleased with them. They didn't take very long at all. I really should have started them before Valentine's Day, but I'm still pleased with how they came out. So yeah. I'm actually tempted to make more, but change all the colours. So do some like spring type ones in pastels and green and yellow. Yeah, and just play around with them really. So that's my next task for April, I think, actually. Not just March. Okay, so that is pretty much all my finishes for February. Yeah. Now, I do have one to show you, which I finished back in November, which is here. So this is now been released. It is a pattern by Sophie of A Spring Snowflake. So I'll pop her details down below and her podcast. It is a cowl, and it uses a mini set from Giddy Yarns. My version uses a mini set from Siobhan's Crafts, which is the Care Bear set. So it's actually sparkly. And then I have broken up the sections by doing a few rows of Stylecraft 4-ply, just in a cream colour. And what I haven't done is woven in any of the ends. So it's still a mess inside, but I don't care. And the idea that the reason behind it being so long is that you can squish it all up together. A nice cozy neck. But yeah, it uses 4-ply yarn, and I really enjoyed working on it. The pattern is available now. Sophie has a pay hip store, I believe. So I'll see if I can put the details down below for you for that. But I just wanted to show it off because it's so pretty. And I think the idea is that actually you can make it shorter, you can make it wider as well, so you could actually change how you wear it. So I think if it was me, I probably would have stopped at when I finished the first mirror of the colours, like that. So it's not as deep, but then you wouldn't get the squishiness of it all. So yeah. Really pleased with that one, and it was so quick to work up as well. Once you got in the rhythm of it, it really didn't take long. I think it took me a few days, and that was it. It was done. So yeah, it's a really nice make. Okay, so I mentioned at the beginning that I have a website, and within that website is a shop, and I've got all my jewellery pieces on there. Now I have so much available that it takes me forever to photograph them and get them uploaded. So I spent a little time over February half term doing just that. There is still loads to put up though. I don't think that's even half of what I have in stock. But at the same time, whilst I was digging out pieces to photograph and put on the website, I then found loads of bits that I thought, oh, I'll just whip up a few more bits. So yeah, here is a resin piece that I made years ago. It has a picture of Alice inside, and it is faceted, so it gives off lots of shine. It's filled with sparkly glitter. I've painted the background white, so there are brush strokes in the background, so you can see there. And then I've just wire wrapped it to a wire frame just to set it off, and obviously it would hang quite nicely sort of in the middle. So that's really sweet. I really like that one. I've got a few comments on that one as well, which is nice. I then I found a piece of Druzy in one of my drawers. I think I've got a couple more pieces like this actually, and I wanted to do something with it that wasn't just the Druzy on its own. Now again, this piece is really difficult to photograph because actually it sparkles in the light. and I can't get that on a photo. So yeah, this one is surrounded by clear quartz chips, which I think set it off quite nice. It's quite an icy sort of feel, but it's quite a nice size. Again, central pendant. So that's Quartz Druzy and then quartz around the outside. I then found some glass pieces, which are fused glass. So I found a bubble glass piece. Now this is actually made by fusing 2 clear pieces of glass together, but you sprinkle like copper powder or copper oxide or something inside, and then when it heats up it bursts and creates these blue bubbles, which I think is just really, really pretty. And what I've tried to do is wire up it in a way that it mimics the lines that are formed inside. So I love these pieces. I've got a few more of these glass bits and I'm just slowly working my way through them. There's also like a couple of flecks in there. I don't know if you can see them because it won't necessarily focus. So yeah, there's that one. And then lastly, I made 2 Tree of Life pendants just because I could. So this one is Amethyst, Rose Quartz, Jade and Clear Quartz. And then this one is in Amazonite. And I just love them. Every tree that I make is completely unique and completely different. Yeah. So those 2 went into the shop as well. There are a few more Tree of Lives in there. And they're so therapeutic to make, which is why I've got so many. But I love the fact that you can do them in any stone as well. It doesn't have to be a gemstone chip. It could be like a very small, like a spherical bead. It could be just something like that. It could be done in seed beads. It doesn't have to be chips, which is why I really like them because they're so versatile. And yeah, I will definitely be digging out my chips again to make some more because this kept me quiet for hours. So it's actually been quite a while since I've made any jewellery. It's been possibly 2 years now that I've made anything. Sometimes it's just the odd bit that I find and I think, oh, I'll just sit and wire up that now, so that there is new stock, or there is new stock going into my events throughout the years. But we haven't had events for 2 years, so sometimes I take stuff with me to the Christmas market that I do and I just whip some bits up there. Other times I don't take anything with me at all, and that's absolutely fine as well. So yeah, it's not very often I get a chance to make jewelry because my hands just don't like the tools anymore. But I have so much stuff here that I really should make more. But yeah, anyway, so it's a treat to see someone on the podcast because I don't think they've been here for quite some time. Okie dokie, so I'm going to show you my whips next. And first up, I'm going to show you something that I've only got one bit done of them. I picked up this book a few months back from a shop local to me. Actually, it sells fabric and yarn and everything, and they do workshops there as well. But it was a search press sale on, so they had 20% off all of the books, and I picked up this one and a few more. Now I've actually decided to make a pair of booties. I don't actually have a baby on the way. One of my colleagues has a baby on the way, but I figured I would make these for a friend instead. So try and do this without showing the pattern. So I'm making some elephant booties. Now all I've done so far is make the booty bit at the bottom. I'm using West Yorkshire Spinners luxury bow peep, or luxury DK bow peep. So I have made one little booty. It is so cute, so cute. And it didn't take very long at all either, so I'm gonna have to try and whip up the other one and then try and make the elephant part that attaches to it. So before baby grows out of them, because I think these are supposed to be something like 3 to 6 months, and I think baby is now 3 months old. So I have one little baby booty. I just need to make another one now, and this is a book by Val Pierce, and I'm using the Tin Man colourway in West Yorkshire Spinners Luxury Bo Peep, Luxury Baby Bo Peep, Luxury DK, I don't know, I get them all in the wrong order. But yeah, really excited to see these finished. The other whip is my big whip at the moment. Now, if you remember the beginning of January, I started 2 blankets. And the idea was that I would finish the first section of one and then go to the other one and finish the first section of that. And I haven't done that. I have just continued with one blanket. So my magic carpet throw is now here. So I have now finished part 2. And I only planned to finish part 1. I did change my mind on the colours at one point. I had picked out blush to be the pink section, but it didn't quite work with the stone. There wasn't enough contrast there. So I used the fondant, which was left over from my gnomes, to do that. And then did the Emperor next. And then because all the other colours I've got are like really weird blues. Well, not weird blues, but they're all different blues. And I wasn't really feeling the blues. I now wanted something to contrast in between every colour. So I picked up Spice from my yarn shop on yesterday. And finished off and made up that section as well. So I have done part 1 and part 2. They were, again, this is Rosina Plane, and part 1 was in issue 110 of Simply Crochet. Part 2 was in issue 111. So I now need to dig out part 3 and get on with that. Let's find the picture to show you what it's supposed to look like when it's finished. And we have this. So we can see that I've done somewhat different colours, but I don't care. So on this one, all the small sections are in the red and the rest is blues and greens. And actually what I think I'm going to do is end up doing the 6 colours and then repeating those 6 colours again. So, because I have loads of the Petrol, I bought 2 balls of the Petrol. I've got 2 balls of the Emperor, and I've only picked up 1 ball of the next one, but we'll see how it goes. What's the next one? Yeah, I might need another ball of the next one. So I am going to do the next section in Apple, which is this really bright lime green. And I think that actually sets off the orange quite nicely. Yeah. After that, I'm going to do the bright pink, which again is the hats from the gnomes, because I think that's a really good contrast to the green. So there is now a plan in place. And I guess we'll see when I get to the end of the bright pink whether I do want to repeat the colours or try something else. So yeah, I'm using just Stylecraft Special DK. And that's about it. My main colourway is stone all the way through. I was going to try and change it for the little sections, so I do camel, but there's not enough contrast because camel's a bit darker than stone. So I'm doing it all in stone. However, I have 2 different dye lots, so I'm really hoping it doesn't notice. However, there is a difference in the yarn because I can see it when I put them next to each other. But what I'm hoping is that I will finish a section before using the other dye lot so that it doesn't show up within a row. Yeah, we'll just keep going from there. That first ball lasted a blooming long time though. So where's my join? Here's my join here. So I got almost through the two large sections and 1 small section before needing to add a new ball. And there was only like 5 rows after that join. So doing pretty well, I think, in terms of yardage and how long it how far it is going, which is good too. So I'm really liking this project, and March is only around the corner. And there is a hashtag going around which is monogamousmarch. So I think this is going to be my main crochet project for the month. But I do think I'm going to be squirreled as well and find other things. I do want to make some mandalas though, so I will cycle them in as and when. I think if I finish a section on this, then I'll make a mandala. That might be my little in-between project, but we'll see. I'm not sure how much time I'm going to have over March because there's a lot going on at work. But yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. And that is it for whips and finishes. So straight on to acquisitions. First off, as always, I get the Vicky Brown mini skein club. I've now getting the mini randoms, and these are all really, really nice colours. These are all kind of Easter themed, which I absolutely love. They're just so lovely and spring-like. So that is this month's. We have spring bulbs, Easter bonnet, bellflower, eat your greens, and spring skies. So yeah, very much a spring box. So I'm really going to be love putting those into something in the future. So that is the first acquisition for the month. We then have the Truly Hooked Blanket Club. So this is minis 3 and 4. And these are more greeny in colour. So 4 is at the top, 3 is at the bottom. And there's like flecks of colour in there as well, which is really nice. These are very spring-like as well. I think the others were more of like a bluey green colour. So I need to put those with last month, which is in my units. So I'll put those in a minute. That's 2. I then got the Truly Hooked. I got the Perf Collab Club yarn, which was a Green Day album. Insomniac. And this is by Quack Yarns. So it's Superwash Blue Faced Leicester in DK. 100 grams is 225 meters. So yellows and blacks. And then there are speckles of like oranges and pinky type tones in there as well, which is really nice. Can't remember if I showed you. I did show you. This is January's. So Fiberpunk was January's and Quack Yarns is February's. So we have Post by Bjork and Insomniac by Green Day. And I love both. This shows how eclectic my music choices are. I was kind of brought up on Bjork, but through my teens and into my 20s and 30s, Green Day is still there. So that's month 1 and month 2 of this year's Perf Collab Club. And I think I have a plan for last year's collab club as well. I was digging them all out yesterday because I needed to find something that I couldn't find. But I've dug them all out so they can all go together. I'm thinking of doing a jumper. I've not made a top-down jumper before, but I might have to make a bottom-up jumper with them. I don't know. We shall see. Watch this space. Next up, I've got more yarn from Castleview Yarns. We have another set of minis. Although I think there's 2 sets of minis in here. Or I might have put them together. Sorry for all the rustling. So the one with the mini skeins, we have Let's Play. So we've got Bamboozled, Paper Snow, a Ghost, Foosball, He's a Dropper, Ultimate Fireball. So Bamboozled, Ultimate Fireball, that is totally a fireball. Although to me, Oh, now I wish I'd got 2 of this one, because that, oh, that just reminds me of something in D&D. Foosball. He's a dropper. So I think this was, who was this? Chandler was the dropper. So every time they threw something to him, he dropped it. Paper Snow a Ghost. I don't remember that one. So that's another set. So that's games set. And then we have Thanksgiving. So the Geller Cup floating heads. So when they all got their heads stuck in the door. Awesome. The Other Sister. The meaning of the box is threefold and You Love Me. Which I believe was Rachel and Ross. So we have The Other Sister, which is really nice deep purples. The Geller Cup. We have You Love Me, which is very much a Christmassy colour. The meaning of the box is threefold and then floating heads. So that is the door colour, which I love. Yeah. So I've got another 10 minis to put into this blanket, which I still haven't started yet. Yeah, so there's that. And I have been putting all of these in one bag as well, so I know exactly where they are. So that when I'm ready to, I can start using them. And I don't know how many squares I'm gonna get out of each mini at the moment. I am tempted just to do one of everything. And then see how many I've got, and if I need to then do another one of everything. Because I actually really like the yarns myself. The other thing I got from Crafty Yarns was, I think this was the Advent yarn. Yeah, this is the Advent yarns. It's called Beach Party. I think this was the full skein for the 2021 Advent, and I got both of the last 2 that were in stock. It's called Beach Party. It is DK. It's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. So it's 225 meters per 50 grams. And I love them. Absolutely love them. They are so fun. So yeah, those are amazing. I have no idea what I'm going to do with the Beach Party, but I couldn't leave it in the shop. It's so bright and fun that I might put it with just a plain yarn. Maybe hold it double or stripe it. I don't really know yet. Next up, I have the February Care Bear box from Siobhan's Crafts. And this time it was Cheer Bear. Yep, who is pink. Cheer Bear is pink. He's got a rainbow on his belly. So again, we have gorgeous pale pink yarn with all the speckles of the rainbow, which I love. We also have a tie-dyed project bag, which has the bullseye print. So it's like circles. And then we have our little Care Bear cupcake. And then we have some stitch markers again. So we've got the stitch marker that matches the bag. There is a rainbow, and then we have a small little globe filled with pale pink little beads, which is so cute. So cute. So there is that one. So that is Siobhan's Crafts. The next one is, I think it's called Love a Lot. I think it's Love a Lot there. I can't remember. He's got a heart on his belly. So I managed to order that this week because that went live this week. So I'm really looking forward to getting that one and putting them all together. I am going to put them all together, probably into another blanket. I have a lot of blankets. Do I make a jumper? Because I think this is going all year, so I'll have 12. So that's 1,200 meters, 1,200 grams of yarn. Yeah, that's got to be enough for a jumper, right? So that's the Care Bear subscription box. But with this, you have to opt in every month. And actually I think I'd prefer it if it was just a subscription, so I didn't have to worry about trying to then buy it every month. But it does mean other people get a chance to do it as well. So yeah, that is the Care Bear box. And then what else do I have here? I went on a little trip to Sconch, which is in Braintree. So it's not necessarily local to me. And actually at the time they had a road closure, so there was like a 20-minute diversion, which was fun because it's country lanes and I hate country lanes. But I wasn't driving, so that's okay. And actually all I bought when we went there were 2 patterns. Both are using hexagons, but they're both slightly different. So they're both Shepier's yarns, and this one is the Confetti Blanket. So it uses the, what yarn does it use? Stone washed yarn. So it's not a solid colour, it's got like tonal in there, it's got like the white flecks in there from the yarn itself. And then this one again I think is stone washed. Yep, this one is like a honeycomb blanket. I need to really like this. The only issue with these is they don't give you like a plan of where the colours go if you wanted to make it exactly the same. This one does. It's got a plan on that one, but the honeybees doesn't, and I think I'd prefer it if it had a plan telling me where all the different hexagons went. So yeah, they were only £1 each, so they're not expensive at all, and they're these cute little books, and they've got little wire loops in the end, so you could put them into a spiral bound, if like a ring binder, if you were looking to, if you kept everything in a ring binder, for example. Yeah, so that's quite handy. And then the last, this one came with a magazine, so it's still a Shepier's pattern, doesn't have the little extra loops on the end, but it is bobbles to make these little cushions here. So each of the big triangle, the coloured triangles, is bobbles, or like a popcorn stitch. So I thought that was quite nice to show you that as well. And the last thing that I have bought, other than the spice and the apple yarn for the blanket, oh god, I just remembered there's something else I need to show you. Let me show you this first. Towards the beginning of the month I picked up, or was this in half term? This was half term. I picked up 3 balls of King Cole Cherished because I could not resist the mint colour, and I cannot open this bag because I've put a big knot in it. Done it. Right, so I could not resist this colour. It is mint. It is a beautiful colour. I'm not sure I can wear mint. I think it makes me look a bit washed out and pale. But there was also this one. And this one is called Spearmint. And it is the same mint colour in it, but it has yellow, peach and cream. So I wanted to try and put those two together. You can see better in the pattern on the side. So it does pattern itself and create stripes. So I bought a white to go with them. And what I'm hoping to do is make a large granny square blanket and just change every row between these 3. So it just gets bigger and bigger. Now, I've not made one before. The closest I got was my cardigan that I made, which is 2 big grannies, but they are 6 pointed. So they have 6 corners instead of 4. So what I want to try and do with those is just make one big blanket, which is probably baby size blanket. It's not going to be massive, but I don't mind that. So yeah, I picked those 3 up. I'm just going to quickly grab the other thing that I bought that I need to show you. Right, so I have been eyeing up this yarn since it came in. Since it came into my local store. It is Stylecraft Special XL Tweed, which is super chunky. This is the cream colourway. And we've got mustard and I think and charcoal. So we've got some really nice tones in. And It smells really woolly, even though it's acrylic. But yeah, so it's got like the flex in there, which I really like. So I've got 3 balls of those because this pattern also came in. Now this is a knitting pattern. I don't knit very often, but this here, all of these patterns are something like 8 rows. An 8-row pattern repeat, which is, I think I can deal with 8 rows, but I really like the effect on this one. So now I just need to find some big knitting needles and give it a go, basically. Yeah, so it uses 3 of the balls. I don't know if it will use all 300 grams. The picture is actually made in mushroom, which is more of a pinky purpley colour, but it doesn't quite, to me in the picture it looks cream, and it reminds me of a spider web, so that's why I wanted to do it in the cream. So that is the last thing I bought from the store, which I plan to work on at some point. Once I get the needles, that will probably fly off in no time at all because it is super chunky, which means it will work up nice and quick, which is just what I need for a knitting project. The very last thing that I bought 2 days ago. I ordered a big bag of stuffing because I'd run out. I used everything I had in the gnomes, so I needed a new bag of stuffing, but I'm not going to show you that because it's just a bag of stuffing. That is everything in terms of acquisitions. I did, however, win a giveaway. So you might have remembered that last year I made 7 blankets as part of the Sophie's Blanket Foul finish along, run by Sophie of A Spring Snowflake, which also then garnered the hashtag of I Blame Sophie Swan. And she sent me my prize, and what's funny is the 3 of us that won are we all join in the Zoom calls on Wednesdays and Sundays, which are held by Gemma of Midnight Diary. So what we have is, I've got some strawberry and kiwi fruit tea. Still haven't tried these yet. I need to get something to put them in. I then have Bird and Blend Mr. Frosty. Again, this is a tea blend. Something I need to venture into. There is this really pretty a little postcard from Sugar and Sloth. And then a sticker from Bird and Blend as well, which says good vibes. And there were 3 prizes because there was 3 of us. I think 2 were minis and 1 was a project bag. And I loved everything. And we all agreed that we were happy for a surprise. So I got the Giddy Yarns Marvellous Monthly Minis Club from February, which are 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. There are 5 of them and they are 20 grams. So they are 85 meters per 20 grams. And they are totally February. Pinks and purples. I absolutely love them. They are so pretty. So thank you so much, Sophie. I am ecstatic with my prize. What I will say is also, I also won a prize in the Midnight Make Along as well, which was held by Gemma of A Midnight Diary. And it's for one of Sophie's patterns. So I already have 2 of them, and there are 2 more out there. However, Sophie is releasing a new one soon, so she said I could also, that one would also be up for grabs if I wanted that one instead. So yeah. Right. That is everything in terms of crafty content, I guess. Like makes, whips, everything else. So time to move on to what I plan on doing for March. And if you remember from last year, I started the 100-day project on the 1st of March. Therefore, I'm starting it again this March. So I only have 2 days until I start. And you may have remembered this. So I did 70 odd days on this one. I finished off a different project before moving on to this for my 100-day project. And I don't think it's going to take 100 days. So what I like to do is an hour a day for 100 days to try and get a project finished. Now I have another large project as well. So once this is finished, I can move on to that, because it's mainly the big projects that I need all the time on. The little projects can be done quite quickly. So this will be coming out back into rotation. Again, it's monogamousmarch. So this will be my cross stitch project for the month, and I think I'll work on one of the blankets for March as well. And then when I get the knitting needles, I'll work on that shawl. So that's 3 projects I want to work on for March, and this will be my 100 days project. So I'm looking forward to doing the top half of him, because all the bottom half is now done. I just need to do a little bit more in his the scabbard for his sword, and there's a bit here that I have missed. So yeah, looking forward to getting back to my stitching. The reason for starting it again on the 1st of March is because that's what I did last year, but also the days are getting longer, which means I have more light to actually do it. It's not something I can do in the dark or with very poor lighting, unlike crochet where I can feel where the stitches. This one I have to actually look for them. So yeah, I think my aunt and uncle will be quite pleased that this has come back out again. I had thought about trying to finish it for Christmas last year, but it didn't happen, did it? So yeah, we're going to do it for this year. So the Mighty Samurai is a dimensions kit, and there are so many different colours for this kit. It is honestly, it's crazy. But it'd be really nice to get it back out and actually be working on it again, and it will give my hands a rest, or at least my wrists a rest from the crochet, but it does mean gripping a needle quite a lot. So I do have a packet of 100 needles just in case they start to go a bit funny, because sometimes they can start sticking to your fingers. So yeah, we will see how that goes. Join me for another 100 days on the Mighty Samurai, and maybe you'll get to see another project as well at the end of that, provided I can finish it. So the last thing I want to mention is plans for March. I've already mentioned monogamousmarch. I've mentioned the 100-day project. And I mentioned mandalas. Now, in terms of mandalas, the reason for this is I've obviously seen a lot of people making them up. So, and when we went to Sconch for a quick visit, I remembered that I had a pattern from them, which is a mandala, which is this one. So I've been and dug that out of my cupboard. I also have the frame, because I bought the frame at the same time. So I'm going to see if I can make this up with some of the leftovers from the Advent. And get that done. But I also bought lots of other frames, I think from Wish, so from China, that are just metal frames, so I can make lots of mandalas. I've also got lots of yarn to make lots of mandalas. But whilst I was looking for that, I then remembered, or found in the same drawer, a book on mandalas. So that's now out of the drawer, and one of the latest issues of Crochet Now, which is this one, issue 78, came with this. So I think it's safe to say I'll be making some mandalas. Yeah, squirreled already. So yes, there will be some mandalas in the near future, that's for sure. So, plans then. Just said there will be some mandalas. I'm going to work on the Magic Carpet Throw, and I'm going to work on the Mighty Samurai. That is probably it for plans. There is a jumper I want to cast on. I'm so scared of doing a jumper and then getting it wrong. But the jumper pattern I have is literally 2 rectangles, one for the front, one for the back. So they're exactly the same. And it's a pieced jumper. And I think actually my brain might work better with that than going around in circles. And it is super chunky yarn, which means that will also grow very quickly and hopefully get done very quickly at the same time. And then obviously I have the shawl pattern that I've just shown you as well, which I would like to potentially start and finish in March. That's it, I think. So yeah, it's going to be busy. We have options evening this week coming. We have so many meetings going on this month at work. I have this is where we get a bit down at the end of the podcast. So I've been mentioning for a little while that I've been struggling with my mental health and feeling really low. I'm really anxious, and I finally contacted the doctors towards the beginning of February, and they put me in touch with a local company that deal with counselling. So I had an assessment with them over half term, and they have referred me or put me on the waiting list for depression counselling. Yeah. So that means that the visit I was supposed to have for my QTS qualification didn't happen. We pushed it back 3 weeks. So that is now in March. And I still have work to type up for that. So yeah, I did loads over half term. I got 2 done really quickly. And actually the 2 that I spent all that time on over half term are the 2 that I got the better grades on. So I think it just shows that if I have the time and I'm solely focused on that and not having to worry about interruptions or other things going on, then they can get done, and they can be done to a high standard as well. The issue we have is me trying to do them whilst at work. Something always gets in the way, and I don't necessarily have the time at home to be doing them. Because most of the time I am really tired when I get home. So yeah, that's where it's at the moment. What I have realised though is that I believe my depression is linked to my emotions and things that I cannot control. Like, I can control getting my QTS stuff done because it's something I physically have to do myself. And there are other things that I can control, like day-to-day basis. The things that I can't control are things like us moving out and us having a child together, because my son is not my husband's. And my son will be 18 this year. What I don't want to then be doing is having a child when he has a child. Because I know there are families that do that, and I have nothing against that. It's just, for me, I don't want to be doing that. But obviously this is all because I had him very young, and yep, I'm only 34. I'm 34, yes, I'm 34. So yeah, there is time for me to have another child, but now that he's pushing 18, it's looking less and less likely, and that's partly why I'm getting so upset all the time. So yeah, we can't have a child until we move out. We can't move out until my husband finishes his doctorate. He gets a better job. I go onto the main pay scale, which is why I'm doing the QTS in the first place. I mean, prior to lockdown, I had 4 jobs. So 4 teaching jobs. And obviously that all disappeared once COVID hit. So I'm back to 1. So I don't have the income that I used to have. yeah, I'm going to stop there before I end up how I was over half term. So yeah, like I said, there's a lot going on, and sometimes I feel very selfish for thinking the way I do about what I want, but at the same time, if I don't try and get what I want, I'll never get it. So I mean, it was really good to have the assessment because it did bring up everything that I needed to talk about, but now I've got to go and talk to somebody else about it for my counselling. So yeah, anyway, I am going to go and make myself another cup of tea, grab some more biscuits because I've already done half a packet of Maryland cookies. Yep, and I think that'll be it for today. No, I won't. I've got one more thing to film. Yeah. Anyway, I'm apologise for bringing the tone down a little bit at the end, but I feel like you guys need to know what's going on sometimes. I do throw myself into my crafts, and sometimes that's known as a coping mechanism, but other times I feel like it's just me ignoring what's going on and not wanting to face it. Yeah, my health hasn't really helped in any of that because it doesn't seem to matter what I do. I simply don't lose weight, or I put more weight on. And prior to my teaching degree, I was a lot lighter. But then I guess that's what happens when you go into teaching. I've spoken to a few people at work and it's happened to them as well. So I know I'm not alone, but I need to do something about it. And when I try and do something about it, it doesn't make any difference. So I get a bit, what's the point? And then I go and eat biscuits. Anyway, I am going to, what am I actually going to do for the rest of today? Do one more video. Apparently, chew the skin off my lip again. And watch some more D&D. So watch Critical Role on telly, on YouTube. I've watched all of the cartoon series now, and it was fab. I'm so looking forward to the next series, so that will be fun. I think I'm currently on episode 62 of campaign 2. So I think I'm over halfway now. Yeah, a little bit obsessed, but there we go. Now I feel like I need all the dice related things. I still haven't found the 2 sets of dice that I bought back in July last year, which I need to put in my dice bag. But yeah, they'll show up. I know they will, but I don't want to buy more until I find them. But I still want to buy more. Anyway, right. That's enough talking from me, I think. I will see you all again in March. Yeah. Just try it and stay positive. Yep. Take care, everyone. Bye.